Okay, I think we can get started. Thank you everyone for joining us. So we are here today to discuss about how AI is transforming software development. So for anyone that doesn't know Cumbia, we are a software development company, and we've been developing digital products for over 17 years already. So, yeah, first of all, I'm going to introduce, well, first of all, some housekeeping items. The session is going to be 60 minutes long. We're going to have a Q&A session towards the end. And the webinar is being recorded, so we're going to have that recording and be able to send it and share it with everyone afterwards. And here with me, I'm going to introduce our two panelists from today, both Cumbia team members. So one of them is Mario Tatis, and Mario is a seasoned software development leader with deep expertise in building scalable, high-performance application. He's passionate about bridging technology and business, optimizing development workflows, and fostering innovation. Outside of tech, he's a proud parent, an avid basketball player, and a futurist exploring AI advancements. Mario has been with Cumbia for a very long time.
Yeah,
And
sorry, man.
thank you, Mario, for joining us. And then we have Ezekiel. Ezekiel is a product designer at Cumbia. X is a talented product designer with over 5 years of experience, creative, intuitive digital experiences. Beyond design, he's a passionate coder and AI enthusiast, always exploring new ways AI can enhance product development. He's currently working on a sustainable, focused project that combines innovation with purpose. And yes, you can call him X, like the Xbox, X Games, or even the Ed Sheeran album, or like Elon's son. So welcome, guys. Thanks a lot for your time and being here, sharing knowledge. Both of these guys are at the forefront of how AI is changing the way we build products, and I can't wait to uh, dive into today's conversation. Um, we're going to try to do this webinar a little bit different than the traditional webinars that we see. Sometimes they are a little bit boring and they seem like a presentation, like a sales pitch. So we want to make it a little bit more conversational, so that it's not too boring and fun. Hopefully, everyone's going to be able to learn something from this conversation. So, all right, getting into it. In this first section, we want to talk a little bit about before AI, right? So let's forget for a second that we're in 2025. Let's go back to before OpenAI came out in, I think it was late 2022 when they announced ChatGPT. So software was different. Software development was different. It was a manual process. Developers and designers had to do everything by hand, like code everything from scratch. Debugging or finding bugs and solving them, that was also very different. And building prototypes, everything was very different. So we want to hear from our panelists, Mario and X, their experiences. So let's start with Mario. Mario, you've been doing this for a long time. In your experience, what was the most frustrating part of software development before AI? And if you can talk a little bit about how that that process was done in the past.
Sure. By the way, it's hard to think no AI for a second, right? I mean,
Yeah.
imagine a world without AI now. So, back in the days when there was no AI tools or AI helping us, I want to say that one of the most challenges for a developer was debugging code. So sometimes you have this massive bug and you have to figure it out where the problem is. You gotta check logs, you gotta check errors here, you gotta run the app, you gotta change environments. So I'll say that definitely it was super frustrating not to know in a fashioned or fast way figure out where the problem was. One other challenge that we face a lot back in the day was definitely the documentations. So sometimes it's we just want to jump into code. So not all developers are that eager to start reading documentations, and sometimes projects when you're actually reading someone else's code, there's no documentation. So it's we struggle. It's just on these days when you're starting a project and then yeah, the previous developer didn't put the really nice documentation, so we struggled to get it working. So that's definitely one of the things that got us super frustrated back in the day. One other thing that I'll say, it's on my top three of challenges was tech debt. So sometimes you're working in an old tech stack and you gotta get it to try to update it, but then you're so afraid of updating libraries because everything is gonna break. So getting into the position that we want to jump to one version to another was definitely a hard task. We had to plan it really good. We gotta try to keep a team only focused on that update because we were just wondering if everything was just gonna crack. And then we gotta prepare QA only to test everything. So those three, I would say, are my top three big challenges that we faced that were really frustrated when that happened before AI.
Great, thanks. And X, how about you? Like from your perspective as a designer, or from a design perspective, how do you think that the traditional process maybe limited creativity or slowed things down, that now in perspective you can say that?
Oh yeah, thank you for having me. I think before of the AI era, I was losing a lot of time on the copy or finding the correct images or videos for my designs. So sometimes that I don't miss about that is how now easily can just generate the text or generate the images that I need and consistent images and multiple images for that case, and just go direct to the flow of design. So I think on that time, all the time I need a subscription or needs a resources or spend a lot of hours in Photoshop or trying to create the image necessary to get a consistent branding or something. And now it's super easy and looks like magic.
Awesome. Thank you, X. So it sounds like there was a lot of manual stuff going on, and yeah, things have changed a lot. So all right, guys. So now let's get back to 2025, right? A lot of things have happened. I know you guys have been, evolving with the technology. So you sometimes it's hard, as Mario said, to go back and forget that AI exists. Now it's part of our day to day. So yeah, let's get into that. Let's get into AI assisted development, right? That's the topic that we want to touch on today. So we, as a software development company, we keep developing software. Like that is still what we do, but now it's an assisted development, right? So we're leveraging using tools that have AI that helps in some way on doing the job. So we are using different tools like GitHub Copilot, right? Replit, Figma AI for design, and that all of those tools helps with coding, with prototyping, with debugging, and but yeah, I'm not gonna list all of the tools. I know there's a lot of tools nowadays, which is makes it harder to decide which ones to use, but I wanna get first into like how did you guys get into using these tools? They started coming out. Um, so Mario, for example, when did you first started using AI for development specifically, and what was your first reaction to it?
So when I started using these tools, it was a long time ago. I don't want to say only when AI came in, but before when we just start getting the first code snippet in Visual Studio, for example, that you can get the boilerplate with a command in your keyboard. Then all of those things were really nice because you get to focus on what you need to focus, and that boilerplate can be just get out of your head. So then we as a developer, we always try to speed up, be more productive. So when AI came in, I remember it was when Copilot first started and we start getting code completion and better code suggestions. It was, man, it was amazing. So I started it and then we started learning how to better use it. So I remember that first we just tend to code and then get the code suggestions, and then it starts shifting the way that you start writing, and then you start doing this readme driven development in which you actually start typing what you want to do and then try to get more context to the code completion engine to give you better suggestions. So that's how I started. I definitely hated that at that point back then the code suggestions were only limited to the code that I selected or the file that I got opened. Sometimes I wanted to do more things that were actually on different files, and then I have to jump in my editor. Now things are definitely different. But then I was definitely imagining what we have now, like getting context of everything. That's what we need, and that's what we got. So it's amazing. So I started there from code suggestions to what we have today.
So do you feel that AI help you somehow like become a better coder maybe?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, sometimes I want to say that we tend to lose time doing things that you don't want to do, and you just want to jumping into the logic, try to get the diagram of your project, try to get the architecture working, but you gotta get all of these components working that are not necessarily gonna be solving your problem. So by using AI, it can definitely get you focused and get you to do what you really love on what. So you can get those things that you don't want out of your plate. So that definitely can make you a better developer because you can focus only on the things you need to focus, and those repetitive tasks can be definitely automated.
Awesome. And X, what about you? Like, is there a particular AI tool that you value the most, or yeah, that you can't kind of live without it right now? And how does it actually
Oh,
help you?
so I remember that I joined ChatGPT. So not at the company. I mean, I joined as a client. So I start being with them since January 2023. Because I find that easily they get limited. The same as happened with DeepSeek. Now that was free, and to use it regularly, you need a subscription. So I start paying that. I don't remember the price. I think was less than now. Was like $8. So I think that's the most powerful, or was the most powerful that I use it in those times. I like how you start talking with the chat and feels like the chat understand you, but sometimes I just feel like he's just answer what I expect to receive. After all that revolution, I think now I using a lot of Bolt and B0 that are great tools for wireframing. So when we start ideas, we start with natural language. We just say, I would like to build a product, or the client side that he wants a product that is a healthcare product, and that has these characteristics, and this is the goal. So instead of just start doing some benchmarking and that, we can do that with these tools that has more a feeling of has a live product there, and not just an static image as Figma. So with that is great, and I'm actually need one that takes those to Figma because they have the opposite direction. Just Figma to V0 or Bolt, I need the inverse. So they bring me that back, and I start after that iterating on Figma. But I think ChatGPT, I need that. He's part of my family. I actually talk more with him than with my family. So that's I need a chat with them.
Yeah, I feel you. Same for me. I talk with ChatGPT more than even my friends. My wife complains that I talk too much with ChatGPT. So yeah, I get you. So what was the most surprising way that AI has changed your daily workflow in terms of, software development or prototyping? or any of you guys who want to answer.
Oh yeah, I think for prototyping, I love Bolt. I like Cursor more. Cursor is great. They do everything. You say I need to build a React project, and they just install the dependencies, update that, brings the icons and everything. So that's amazing. So I think I love Cursor. Cursor, if you are hearing this, I love you.
From my side, I will say that definitely AI has helped us. Again, I feel that I'm being repetitive, but help you focus on the things you want and don't wasting too much time on things that you don't want to waste. For example, back in the day when you want to build a prototype, you could spend a week or so doing it. And sometimes when, for example, if you're working on front end and you need to get this fully functional prototype and you need a backend, then you gotta probably pull in somebody from a backend team to help you get that backend piece of code so that your front end proof of concept can work. Right now, actually, just one guy with these AI tools, they're gonna be able to actually get all of that in a matter of hours, if not so minutes. So then definitely getting that ready, you're gonna be able to get feedback earlier and show it to people. I believe that is the thing that has definitely changed us. That
Oh yeah,
right now
I love that.
much more.
I think that's great. That's a great point because all this about coding is a language programming. So the same as this language that we are talking, that is English. The value is not the learn the grammatically the language itself or the speed of how you talk on that. Is how you can convey your ideas on that. How can you express your ideas? And the language is just the bridge that connect that. So you are trying to be more yourself with that. And with AI, we can get that support. It's actually the copilot that with us can land that plane that is our ideas and we can flow on that. And that's why we are talking a lot now about vibe coding and that we abstract more our ideas and we can just start thinking on what is important to add in our products, in what we build, and not just focus if it's the correct syntaxes, if it's the correct technology, if it's the correct backend. It's just how much value we are adding with this.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. All right. So now that we've covered how AI is shaking up development, let's get a little bit deeper into the real world impact of AI and software development. So in this next section, we want to split it in three. So first, let's talk a little bit about how AI tools for developers are causing a real world impact. Then we're going to talk a little bit about vibe coding, and then we're going to talk about common mistakes and busting AI myths. So let's get started with the first part, and this is going to be more oriented to development. So for Mario, um, you talked a little bit about before, right? We both did about how things were before AI. So now we want to do a comparison. Now we acknowledge that AI is here, right? So like what's the difference? Like how things have changed? Can you compare like a recent experience where you were coding using AI and then compare to how it was before AI existed, and how did AI make a difference in that process?
Sure. AI is changing everything. I want to say that all of the process that we are following, I would say when you use AI, you wanna just try to adapt to it and change the way that you code and change the way that this can help you better. I will say that the things that has changed a lot are gonna be definitely velocity, because considering now that these AI agents are gonna be helping you with the boilerplate, they're gonna be helping you with understanding what you're trying to do and give you every time better suggestions. Then you would no longer like wanna go outside what you're doing and get out of your environment and go and start searching on Stack Overflow or Googling, because you can just get your answers right there. That will be one thing that I want to say, that for developers, having an coder, an IDE editor with AI built in is gonna be keeping them totally focused because they're gonna keep their environment there. And back to the challenges, one of the things that I would say that definitely change is how we see problems. So sometimes when we face this huge bug, we were frustrated, we're not finding a solution, but AI tools can help you identify, give you where the code smells. It can give you an idea what it is or a hint, and then you can do it. One other thing that I'll say that AI is changing this is in terms of how can you focus again on the things that matter most. For example, if you're building an app that is gonna be for a specific niche in which it requires a lot of complexity, then I know that I have to focus on that part. But for example, everything about I don't know, sign up, sign in, listing users, a table, then I can just leave that to the AI and I can get all of my senses into what I need to build that I need to really focus on. I start getting feedback from the AI, having like someone that is pair programming with you all the time, that is super powerful. So I'll say that when we as developers use the AI as an assistant, not really like this guy that is doing everything for me, but I'm the pilot, but you are the co-pilot, then I can definitely be a better programming. I'm
But
learning. I'm doing
but
it.
you don't think that you are getting more lazy with that, like just doing
Oh
that,
no, I mean, no,
or
definitely not. Definitely not. I'll say that it's not about being lazy. It's about being investing your time in the things that matter the most. I'm lazy about the things that I don't want to do, but I want to focus on the things that I really like and I really passionate about.
but
That
how about the co-participation in the product? Because if we, I know, I remember before in the era when you have a question, maybe you have an issue, you have to solve that, and you start asking that, hey, did you solve this before? Or you are looking in, I don't know, Stack Overflow and that, and somebody
yeah,
say, hey, that's not correct, and you get angry for that. You now go back and you don't have the solution. But now with the chat, it feels like you are talking alone all day, isn't it?
not really, because sometimes what happened, and I'm sure that all of the developers were at some point did this, they just copy paste blindly whatever they found on Stack Overflow or sometime on this,
Mm.
Chinese sites that we didn't know what the hell they were talking, but there was some snippets, and then we just pasted it and somehow it worked. But right now, when you actually ask an AI agent, hey, I need to fix this, you can use that same code, but the AI is gonna be giving you the reasons so you can know
Mm.
exactly what is the reasoning behind it and you can actually accept it or reject it or understand it so you're not like blindly copy pasting code or accepting code. That's why I think that is definitely better because it kind of
But
gets you smarter.
and that doesn't feel like the I remember that always when people talks about AI and the problems that can bring about Wally, that where you see that person's in that flagship just going around and seeing a TV, and they ask to the model, hey, give me this, give me that. That's similar. The captain say, hey, we have this issue, and the copilot say, no, that's not an issue. You start convincing that and you start arguing with the model, or you say, all right, if you say it, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely argue with the model and only accept the code that you want or just code it yourself. I mean, you can get lazy if you want to get lazy, but if you really are a developer that really focus
Mm.
on good code, you're not gonna be blindly accepting AI.
Yeah, I think one of the great things of AI is that you can give feedback to it, right? So if you know what you're doing, you can give feedback like, hey, maybe this is not the best way of doing it, and it's gonna like do it again. As opposed to if you have no clue what you're doing, you're just gonna accept everything. So having that knowledge is still very important, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or what's gonna happen is that you're gonna get code that is gonna work only in that context. But when you
Oh,
start actually testing it and
mhm.
using it, you
Yes.
will you will know
Hmm.
that your code is not gonna scale. So
Yeah.
then yeah, definitely you
So
need to.
Mario, is there any task that you usually do in your development process that AI has completely eliminated for you?
Sure, yeah, I just said it. Going to Stack Overflow and search for things that are not working or helping with a bug that I have to go outside my environment and try Googling it. That's no more. With
Okay.
How
AI,
about
I'm
Completely
how about
changed.
documentation?
about what?
Uh, Documentation.
Documentation. I love documentation. I read documentation, and I still think that that is definitely part of what we should do. Read first. Actually, with my team, we had something when somebody just asking something trivial, we're just gonna say like, "You don't read." So, but I do want to say that with AI, sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I just gonna be pasting a link, and I'm gonna be asking, hey, how to do this, and the AI is gonna keep pulling me to the right direction. Uh,
So it sounds like it's all about speed, right? Like before you had to read the whole documentation and find what you were looking. Now you can put in the link and ask specifically, like look in the documentation, read it, and find where this explains this specific thing. So I want to talk about speed. Of course, it's no surprise that AI is making everything faster, but how much faster? So I know it's hard to put a number, but if you could say, like typically X type of project would take you, 2 months to build, like how faster are you now with AI? Or if you could say like a percentage, how much faster do you feel it is?
I'll say it depends. So if it is a simple project, just front end displaying whatever backend is returning, man, that would be like probably 70%. We can with AI, you can definitely do it faster. If it is a challenging project that it will require, for example, HIPAA compliance, PCI compliance, security, performance, we need to do some real-time communication. I'll say that we will still need to focus on that with the developer building something the right way and keep the AI doing the rest. I'll say definitely on those cases, probably by, I don't know, 50% maybe. But the dimension of where this is coming and where this is going, definitely the numbers are gonna be even better. So I'll say that it would depend on the type of project. If it is a small project, then it can be definitely 70 to 80%.
So much faster.
Yeah,
S-
yeah, yeah. I saw a post on X recently. Um, this the dad was actually sharing a story about her daughter that she wanted to build an idea, and then she started coding in Replit, and she get it from dinner to bedtime. The app was ready. So in a matter of hours, she got an idea working. Is that idea working fine? Is that gonna be really secure? Is that gonna scale? I don't know, but you can get something really fast out there in a matter of definitely shorter than before.
Cool.
X, what
Uh,
about you, man?
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what about you?
What?
I mean, how fast it
Uh,
is for you now?
I think I like vibe coding in that case. So we have to do a lot of prototyping for the on Figma because we have to test our designs. We have user testing, usability tests, and that to see if our ideas are accurate. And that could take I don't know like 1, 2, or more weeks, and maintain that could take you your life. I think that takes you years of life each time to iterate that because you need to do components and change many screens to make that work. But with tools, as you mentioned, like Replit or Cursor, Bolt, B0, you can build that in a few hours. In a few days, you can iterate that with the client. And also, we have a few clients that like that. And we can build a small prototype. I know that this doesn't have a real backend or maybe it's all markup data, but we can test that. We can put analytics on it, and we can track everything, so we can get heat maps for it and everything. And that with that, we are going to get a lot of realistic results of our designs in a short period of time. So I like that. So, and I like how kids can build that prototypes. As same as you mentioned, I saw a kid that was 8 years old and that was building a model on Java or something like that. That's great.
That's interesting. Actually, I wanted to ask you that. Like, do you think that non-designer is able to build a prototype using one of these AI tools, or do you still feel like it's important to have the knowledge to use the tools?
Oh yeah, I think definitely somebody can do it. It's and the models are smart enough to understand the requirements and try to do the necessary to build that prototype. I think mostly on the developers understand that the code is not always perfect and that and so on. But as I mentioned, they know about the languages and they know how is the syntax, how are the requirements and the compliance that we has. But somebody from product or some or not technical people, they have now a huge power because they have a translator now that can talk any language. They can build any product easily. Maybe they have an idea that is a small idea of build I don't know, an e-commerce, a landing page, and they can do it easily, simple, and just in natural language. Say, hey, I need a landing with this requirement and conditions. Um, as I mentioned, Mario, is about speed. The model is not creating a component. Are looking for a component that is already created in a library or in a place and copy and move it there. So we are just skipping that part and going to the creativity or going to the flow or going to vibe coding, as we
Yeah.
know that.
So
Well,
actually, oh, sorry, Mario, go ahead.
no. From my side, I'll say that AI is having a crucial impact, but keeping someone expert around is also crucial right now. You
Oh yeah.
definitely need somebody to put that vision of understanding the problem, code optimization, scalability, architecture designs. One of my concerns with by coding and getting everybody to do it, everybody can cook, but uh, actually, I just stole the quote for you. Everybody can cook, but are you gonna get a Michelin star? It's really what I don't think that we are in that point now. And I do want to say that do it, get your prototype, but having someone expert around is still crucial.
It feels
Oh
like
yeah, but
it can get you started, right? Like
Yeah,
yes.
it can make it a little bit more tangible, like what you have in your head,
Mhm.
and take it to someone who actually knows how to do this stuff right,
yeah.
right?
That's right.
Awesome. Yeah. So X, you got into vibe coding already, talking about that. That's the next section. So vibe coding, this is a term that people are using. It's basically prototyping using AI, right? Is that right, or do you have a different definition for it?
Yes, sir. That's it.
Okay, perfect. Uh, is there any or are there any tools that you would like to highlight that you like using for vibe coding?
So the mostly that I use is Cursor, B0, and Bolt. I know that they are authors ones like Replit and Lovable, and many more. But I like that two bolts because they have a focus in the architecture of it and on the design. So they can import easily from Figma. They can understand everything. They have smarter models, thinking models, so that they explain you a lot. They are very powerful to build something in 3D or and so on. So I think it's great. But as Mario mentioned, you need somebody that understand because it's many things that happens while the model are working that you don't understand if it's correct or not. Or if, for example, I saw a tweet that somebody say, "What's that dot that you see in the on cursor each time that they modify something, and that means that you have to
It's an
save the
error.
changes. No, you have to
Oh,
save the changes, and that's simple. But if you never use VS Code or anything, you don't know that. So the code are never going to be actually save it or modify it. So you need a basic understanding, and of course, most you are going to cook better because you can cook, but that doesn't mean that you are a chef. So
mhm.
yeah.
Makes sense. So I have a controversial question, and similar to what we asked already, X with design. And Mario, do you think that anyone can build an app using AI, or are there like real limitations about it?
It depends. I mean, what is an app? If it is something that is actually running on a device that can display information, anybody can build an app, you know, and everybody can build something. And just like X said, there are these tools, for example, Bolt, in which you just sign in and then you just get the box to start prompting, and then you can just get magic out of it. But if you really want to build an app that is going to be scaling to millions of users, if you want an app that is going to be secure, if you want to build an app that is going to be with compliance of HIPAA, PCI, accessibility, then I'm sure that you're not going to be able to do it if you don't have strong technical context. So I'll say that if it is a prototype, it is something that you want to validate an idea, definitely anybody can do it. I actually had an experiment with my wife. She, she's a psychologist, and we were building an app together. I was asking her, do the app, and I'm gonna be doing the app myself, and at the end, let's compare. And she can come up with something fun. It can work, but I was able to hack it in a matter of hours, and I was able to actually see someone else's data. So that's the problem. Everybody can build an app, but if you don't have this strong technical context and concepts, you might build something that is going to be easily breakable, and you will have a problem.
And do you think that with that we are making more plain products? Like if somebody doesn't have the knowledge about what is, I don't know, a component or what to ask to the model, we are getting products more, I don't know, ugliest, maybe simple, no more the GTA. We are having small games, simple games with low graphics. We are getting more a fast fashion of software where we just ship it.
Yeah, I mean, it can work, and it have worked to some people, but I just want to say that that's not the rule, and that should not be the expectations of using AI tools. I mean, by coding, I love it. I think that is solving a problem. I think that it's putting software development out of this scope of only experts can do. Everybody can do code now. But not sure if you saw that story recently that a guy in Brazil, he's 11-year-old, actually took off his plane. I mean, did he get the plane to fly? Yeah. But
is it safe?
Is it safe? Yeah. Is it gonna crash? Is it gonna crash?
Yeah, it sounds like it depends on how serious you want to get with your app, right? Like
exactly. I saw another post on X that this guy was doing 2,200K on MMR. It was amazing, and then people just start hacking him, and then he had to actually shut down the application because there was just getting bots to get tons of credits to what he was using his AI models, and then he had to take the app down. So I'll say that definitely it's going to help to build things smaller, but if you want to grow, if you want to make it bigger, if you want to really want to have an impact on what you're doing in terms of getting something scalable, by coding, I'll say that it's not there yet, man.
Oh yeah, I find a lot of that security issues because just the model say, hey, this is not correct, but I'm going to do this just because it's a testing environment, but that is actually deployed. So after the user starts seeing that, you keep carry on the error. So yes, you maybe you have vulnerabilities and you have your API keys exposed, and that happens to a friend twice in a day. That friend is called same as me. So it happened that yeah. So and after that, just the model. I just say, hey, can you help me with that? Just the model help me. I mean, help my friend.
Yeah, but one other thing that I like to share is that I'm not against it. I mean, I like it. I've been using it, and I know that I'm gonna continue using it sometimes to build my prototypes. But we know that AI is moving so fast. What happened a month in AI is like 5, 10 years in other industries. So then I'll definitely see this going somewhere in having a really big impact on software development. But as today, I want to say definitely like vibe coding can get you to one point, but starting from there, definitely experts at writing really good apps with solid foundations and best practices is still crucial for
But
you.
you can build a POC without problem there.
Yeah,
You want to
yeah,
show something.
exactly. I was actually building a prototype like 2 weeks ago, and I started using Windsurf from Codium using Cloud, and I actually got in my project, the backend project, the front end, an Ionic application, and a Swift native application, everything in one single go. And whenever I made a change on the backend, I want an endpoint to do something, it will automatically get the endpoint in the backend and also update the front end code to implement those new APIs. So it was amazing. So for doing things like that, in which we at some point not really care much about security or code implementations or bugs, then definitely this is gonna be really huge.
But you are manipulating the model. You say something like, "Hi, my life depends on this or that," or you say, "Hey, I need this because my mom is on the hospital." I saw some manipulation
I heard
tricks
about
on the
it.
prompt.
Yeah, I heard about it. I heard about it from two different people from two different sources, and it feels like the AI is gonna give you better code. Haven't tested it yet, but sounds like
Some people think that if asking like please and saying thank you, like it can help getting better responses. But yeah, who knows? Hey, guys, so we have about, like 17 more minutes. I want to give a friendly reminder that we have a questions and answer section towards the end. So if anyone has a question, please drop them down in the Q&A section so that we can get those answered before we finish up today. But there's something that I wanted to touch on, and I know that we don't want to give all of the Cumbia secret sauce, but if you guys can maybe give us a bit of an example on how you guys are doing software development or AI assisted development nowadays. Uh, if you can give us like an example, like what's that process nowadays? I know that a lot is changing and probably we're still testing some things. But yeah, like how does that work? Like what part is done entirely by the coder? How much do we use AI, and in what type of scenarios are we using AI?
so. I'll start saying that when we build a project, it goes to different phases, right? I mean, from pre-sales, start getting requirements, to building proposals, to start designing, to get project in place on a Jira board and start coding it, testing it, releasing it. I'll say that we can use AI in all of those fronts. So we're using AI to get requirements, making sure that the requirements are well written. We have some AI agents that are right now checking our requirements, making sure that they're clear if there's something missing or if there's going to be risks associated to them, so that we can be prepared. X just share, and he can share later how he's using AI on this design process. And then it comes architecture before starting the project, and then we are sharing our ideas to AI models to create diagrams. We're using AI models to help us define and find vulnerabilities or risks and implementing certain third-party services. So that part, we're using AI as a companion. Again, we are the experts. We know what we need to do. We are the architects. We're just leveraging AI in order to verify if what we are planning is actually something that we can do safely, or if there are other risks that we're not seeing. That's when we are using AI. If it is a quick prototype, if it is a MVP that a client would like to build fast, we are relying on some vibe coding tools in order to get something quick for the clients, and then we can start seeing and getting feedback earlier. But when the process is getting mature, then we just rely on actual development team that are going to be involved building an app, just like we usually do, but leveraging AI to help us with the boilerplate, help us with debugging. And on the QA phase, we're leveraging AI agents also to help us. This is the project, these are the requirements. Give me a list of the scenarios that I should be testing. And then the experts at QA are going to be checking everything, making sure that the requirements on the tests are actually aligned. And then we will actually just test it. And for deployment, we are using in our CI models AI that are actually checking code, helping us doing code reviews, giving us comments on GitHub. We're leveraging now in tools that use AI, for example, SonarQube to identify code smells, code quality. And then if something is not good, I'm gonna be rejecting the build. So as you can notice, we're using AI in each of the pieces of our SLA. So that's how we do AI here. There are things in which we're gonna be using it more than other places, but we're still leveraging on senior developers building applications that will scale and are gonna be ready for production.
Awesome. And it sounds to me like X also, he mentioned, or I think it was in our conversation yesterday, using AI for, creating a lot of design assets that before would take a lot of time to create from scratch. Now you can just prompt the AI to help you with a design asset, right?
Yes. So thank you for the slide. I like the second part. We are doing that a lot. So the client just came and say we have this idea. We try to build. Before of that, we usually spend a lot of I don't know, days fighting with the client, trying to find mm, to solve many things at time, like branding and design and usability and architecture, but architecture, information architecture of the product. But now we can build something that is usable, and the client can see if that's the correct direction that we are taking. But by building that just with AI, that doesn't have the heart of the company, doesn't have the soul of the branding. So that feels like build it with Bootstrap, the same, that all the apps was looking the same. So after we validate ideas, we can go move to Figma and try to put their branding, put their branding colors, essence, and all the necessary to make a unique app with a delightful experience. After that, we go with the developers that they know that we screw up this, and they say, hey, all right, we are not going to use this, but we like the Figma, so we start building on that. And the client already has a prototype to show to everybody. They can see a functional
Investors.
thing, they can test that, and they can see if they are the direction and they are investing in something. It's not just an image in Figma, it's actually a link with the website, it's a mock-up, but it's a real product, so they can see more live that.
Yeah, I remember when, sometime before when we built that design, it looks really nice. Client liked it, approved it, actually had it on his phone testing it. Then you build it, and then you actually start sending the clients the first builds, and they start using it. They're gonna be giving you feedback like, hey, you know what? I want to change this, I want to change that. Now with this building prototype from design to something clickable so fast, we can reduce that gap of feedback. And then when we get to development point, then there is something really that is actually approved because the client was easily able to test with the help on AI, getting the design on a working prototype.
Yes, and in this case, we can leverage the design because we are going to have a faster feedback. We are going to iterate a lot, way more in a short period of time. So the developers are going to receive something that they are not going to change today or tomorrow or next week because we already iterated a lot in more than how we usually do with Figma. So that makes more easily the implementation for them.
All right. So, sorry, go ahead, Mario.
No, I'm sorry. No, one other things that we're using AI now in some clients and some projects is when we are building features and we're just getting the requirements. Sometimes not like with AI assisted development, but with building an AI agent, we can just build features. For example, let's say that we have this client that we have he can watch episodes, movies, shows what's next, what is the new release of the shows, and then we want to build this massive recommendation engine, and you gotta build it, and you gotta rely on third-party services for that. So complicated, but with an AI agent, keeping it connected to your database, keeping it connected to your user behaviors, then it's gonna be so easy to just build an agent that can recommend something to you. So then we can easily, in a matter of days, get a feature that we could easily have planned in a matter of probably months, and we might not get the right recommendations for that. So that is also one other thing in which we rely AI here, building faster features so we can get to market faster, and then we can get to test it properly, and then continue iterating, as I said. So AI is changing everything. We gotta adapt.
Yeah, I think that, thank you guys. I think that gave us a really good gist of like how we're integrating AI into our processes and how we're leveraging it. I want to get into one last thing before we end up, and it's misconceptions and myths. So there's a lot going on, a lot of talk, people thinking and giving their opinions about what AI can do, what it can't. So I would like to hear from you guys, like what's one common misconception about AI in software development that you hear all the time? Yeah, and what's true and what it's not true. Mario.
Mario.
Is AI going to replace us? Yeah, that'd be the first one, definitely. So I'll say that that's definitely not true. So AI,
But how about the Tesla Primes? I saw him doing rock and scissor, making jokes. He can replace me or not? Maybe
not
as a bartender. I saw him doing drinks and everything.
yeah, I mean, probably not yet. Probably,
Let's
probably.
talk, yeah, let's talk about today, because
All
maybe
right.
in 10, 20 years, things are gonna change.
Yeah. No, I'll say that definitely. Still, experts have this crucial role in creativity. I'll say that definitely AI yet is awesome, but it's just something that is doing what you're telling it, and I'll say that we're still out there to put our creativity, challenge it, and make it scalable. So I'll say that it is right now something nice, something awesome, something that we have to keep using, but it's not gonna be replacing us anytime soonish.
Yeah.
So,
That's actually aligned to a question that I had here, if it's gonna replace developers. But there's another question. Let's start getting into the questions. If you had to predict where AI in software development will be in 5 years, what would you say? So how do you imagine software development in 5 years from now?
Oh wow! I mean, in directly software development and coding, it has been so easy for AI models because it just generated code, and I'll say that for us in our industry is going to be changing a lot. I say that the problems that we have today are in terms of scalability and security. JS injection has been killing all of those small web applications built with AI. So I'm gonna be seeing in 5 years that vibe coding is gonna be something that everybody's gonna be using. I don't think that right now senior developers are gonna be replaced, but I do see in 5 years definitely that more companies are embracing this, and the era of junior developers using AI and the era of non-coding people using AI is gonna be here. One other thing that I will say, in 5 years, that's gonna be happening is, in 5 years, we're also gonna be seeing, faster communication, faster internet velocity, more data, more parameters, then the models are gonna be able to do so much more. So I'll say that the AI is not gonna be just limited to building your app, but it's gonna be also help you with that creativity in which we're still crucial in that front. So I'll see in 5 years, definitely you're gonna be just discuss with the AI, and the AI is gonna be like real time building your idea. Right now it's just a back and forth in and out process, but the real time is not there yet. So I'll say that in 5 years you're gonna be able to real time start actually creating something with AI as a true co-pilot. Right now it's just this guy that is there, but it's is doing what I telling him to do. That's how I see it in 5 years. That we will start being replaced little by little, and creativity is gonna be real time.
So do you think that we are going to change the way of how we work? Same as Tony Stark, that he is just saying, Jarvis, just do this, do that. And when somebody asks something, he say, hey, I don't know that you are an expert. Oh yeah, I learned it last night. So he can learn a lot easily. He has still been an engineer because he studied a lot, but he can just focus in the creativity, in the building part, and the model just do everything.
Exactly. It's just LLMs models, and they're just limited to their data and their training. In 5 years from now, I'm sure that they're gonna be able to do so much more with so much data. So yeah, maybe not like Jarvis and something like that,
Mhm.
but something close, probably. Like it's gonna be
But
easy to create.
I think I kind of see it happening like what X mentioned. I think it's like when you have an orchestra and you just like you play the violins, play the guitar, play whatever. So as AI gets more context and more access to the development tools and everything, you're gonna be able to say that like hey, take this information from here, put it there, add this code, take this snippet, like more of a director of the of the development. So I can see that happening for sure.
Yeah, and since the director has more context about music, he can be precise about the change. It's not just level this up, just up, go one tone at top. Just he can just switch a little bit, small tweaks, and that gets him a lot of power. And that just a normal person could say, "Hey, I like more guitar," and that's
Yeah.
general.
So guys, unfortunately, we're running out of time. We just have a couple of minutes left, so I just want to wrap up. I want to thank you guys for being here with us, sharing your experience, sharing your knowledge, and for the people who joined us today. Also, wanted to thank you for joining us. Again, we're Cumbia. We are doing this, on a day-to-day basis, building incredible products, digital products, and doing software development in general. So if any of you have any needs in terms of software development, you can reach out to our team. We don't charge anything for our first call, so don't be shy. We can help you get started for sure and show you how we're leveraging AI to get your ideas to product or your projects to finalized much faster now that we are using AI. So thank you all. Have a great rest of your week and take care. See you next time. There's a lot that we're going to be covering in next webinar. So make sure to visit our website, cumbia.com. And if you want to reach out, you can send us an email at contact@cumbia.com or fill out our form. And yeah, follow us on social media because we're going to be sharing new events coming soon. Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.